Oh, sure, put it right in the hot seat.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Corporation of the Village of McBride for June 14th, 2016. Mayor Martin sends her regrets, is unable to attend this evening, so I will be acting mayor. So the meeting, first item on the agenda is to call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. by acting mayor, Councilor Thompson. Introduction of late items. I have two items if council would approve adding to the agenda. One, I would suggest would go under 7C, which is a report from administration with regard to a tendering contract. And the other one is 10G, which is a report from administration with recommendations regarding a Canada 150 grant. I would suggest that go under 10G. And I have another item from Councilor Bazanson, but that's already been included, so we've got that information.
Yes, I know.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to accept the, approve the agenda with the changes. Moved by Councilor Reichert, seconded by Councilor Tracy. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Reading and approval of the minutes. We have several sets of minutes to approve. The first are the minutes of the 24th of May regular council meeting as a motion to approve the minutes of the May 24th regular council meeting. Mover.
Move to accept.
Moved by Reichert, seconded by
Tracy.
Tracy. Thank you. Are there any errors or omissions? Minute to look. Hearing none. I have one. Page 8 of your agenda. More just a placement of an item where it says at 8:30 Councilor Thompson returns to the chambers. That should actually be after the motions that were
Oh,
passed.
okay. These are the ones that were sent out for you guys to look at,
Yes.
correct? Yes.
Yes, please.
So that should drop to under the resolution?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
it's just where it's placed.
Perfect.
Seeing nothing else, all in favor? Approving the 24th minutes? Opposed? Carried. A motion to approve the May 25th special budget meeting minutes, which are found on page 10 of your agenda.
Move to accept.
Moved by Reichert, seconded by Tracy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed?
I was in favor.
You're in favor. You gotta be fast up here. Carried.
Apparently.
Next item is a motion that the minutes of the May 25th special council meeting be adopted as presented. Those are located on page 12 and 13. Move to accept.
Yes.
Councilor Reichert, seconded by Councilor Tracy.
Ralph?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? You're in
No,
favor.
again.
It's carried.
Take a breath.
Petitions and delegations, we have none. Questions from the public and the press. I have reports from the public. We've moved this to item number 5 after many attempts. First of all, I would call upon Mr. Glenn Foster to come forward. You are first on the agenda, 5A.
Okay. And what do I do?
You
Right
just-
here is okay?
You've got the floor for 3 minutes.
Okay. I would just like to say thank you from the library board to all the counselors here and the mayor, who isn't here right now, but thank you very much for all the help in getting the referendum to this point, and hopefully it'll be carried tonight. It's been a very long journey, and we've got a long journey ahead of us. We hope to have the library open this fall, but you know, if you have a few 100,000 lying around, we could certainly use it. I would also like to say thank you very much to two members who got us to this point, and that is Joel over here, and also Naomi here, who have carried us through to this point, and we can't thank them enough. So thank you to those two, and well, come out and see the new library, hopefully in the fall. And again, thank you very much for all your help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foster.
That was a weird thing to clap. Yeah, I was going to say clap.
Look, but I got it. And yes, Mr. Foster, that item comes up later on in the agenda, so I'm sure you'll want to stay for the excitement. 5B, Matthew Wheeler. It's your turn to address council with regard to the Valley Museum Rita building.
Right, so we became aware of the building inspector's concerns about the CRETA building, and when we built the recreation of the McBride's first village office onto the building, it was done with the understanding it would be removable, but anything happening fast would really catch us flat-footed, and for the first time we have a heavy program of village walking tours, guided tours planned, plus brochures and promotion of the machinery display and the facade. And it would be very sad if we start the tourist season with removing of one of our star attractions, and we would like to hope that a deferral could be on it, as it doesn't involve sort of dangerous imminent problems. The building hasn't changed in 30 years, and we also have a letter of support to the museum from the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if you wish to hear it, or there are copies there, so I don't know what...
Yes, we've received a copy of that.
So would you like me to read any of it, or is that...
Perhaps, maybe since the gallery doesn't have a copy, perhaps
Okay,
you'd like to...
so the gist of it from the Chamber is that regarding the building and the museum space, it's our understanding the building inspector has done an assessment, recommended demolition. We'd like to request that council work with the existing building and property users to provide as much transition time as possible prior to demolition. The building assessment report does not appear to indicate any safety issues that would preclude use for the next few months, permitting the existing users to continue to use the building temporarily while they relocate items from both the building and the property. At the present time, even though the building is aging, the facade, yard and display equipment remains a pleasant view, preferable to a demolition site. And this would have the advantage of keeping this property intact, as is for the summer tourist season. And we were thankful for considering our request to delay demolition. I should add the new program at the museum starting this year of guided tours is a wonderful addition to the village as a whole, because it will introduce visitors kind of in an intimate way to the businesses operating in the downtown. So it keeps people here longer. So thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Next I have 5C, Alan Frederick, zoning amendment 763.16. Alan Frederick.
Thank you. My only point that I wanted to make was I wanted to make sure that mayor and council members were aware that there were, at least that I am aware of, 2 other letters that were not read or presented at the public hearing meeting that was held. And those 2 were not included in the package of the agenda as well. So I just wanted to make sure that those 2 letters would be referred to the councillor and mayors in the near future, or that they're aware of those 2 letters not being shown.
Yes, I'll let the administration address that issue.
So,
Thank you.
yes, Mr. Frederick, as you are aware from the email response you received from Mr. Simmons, our approving officer, they won't be considered. They remain locked with the package and unopened. As he'd indicated in his email to you, it happens sometimes. It's unfortunate when it happens. But that's sort of the rules on it, was my understanding. I don't usually forward emails that way. I'm happy to forward your response from Mr. Simmons to Mayor and Council if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay, that completes the information from the questions from the public. So we'll move on to unfinished business. 6A, loan securement from MFA discussion. Could you just bring us up to speed on that?
I can, just as a reminder, because it was a while ago, it was on your agendas. If we are looking to secure a loan from the Municipal Finance Authority, we have to let the regional district know formally in writing before the end of this month. At this time, there is no indication that we need to apply for one. So it was just to remind you of that date. If you did have something in the back of your minds or something that hadn't been discussed, now would be sort of the time to say maybe we should think about it. Certainly, CFO Kier had not mentioned any need, and maybe I should, I'll let Sherry speak to that. Are you aware of any need for loans? No.
So if there is a need to do an MFA loan, we have till the next meeting to make a decision on that.
We do,
Okay,
yes.
so let's open the floor for discussion on that topic, councillors.
Sorry, when was the deadline?
End of the month.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, I think it may be the 28th. I think that's why I included it now.
that's the date of our next.
So this
That's
is
the
what-
day of our next meeting, that's correct, yes.
Well, something did come up, we could do it via email, right?
Of course.
And we could always call a special meeting should we need to do that. So if there's something coming up when CFO is back or something that we come across in the next short while that we need to address that issue with, we have basically 2 weeks. So on the agenda tonight for awareness.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
okay. So I don't think there's any additional action items required in that regard. 6B, correspondence. Eva Westland's letter of April 27th, read at the May 10th meeting. There is a motion that council accept the administration report regarding Ms. Westland's property on Bridge Road. Administration, would you like to update us on your report?
Yes, that's on page 28 in your agenda.
28, yes.
Yeah. There was some question whether there was, whether that property was hooked into our infrastructure at the time. Public Works confirms that the Westland property on Ridge Road has both water and sewer service. It is on a temporary vacation shut-off. But at this time, the property remains connected to the Village of McBride infrastructure, and therefore the owner is responsible for payment of utility fees. Now, Mrs. Westland has spoke with both administration and Public Works in regards to this, and it has been explained to her. I think that her request was that Mayor and Council write her a letter. My recommendation is that we just send a letter on behalf of Mayor and Council, just outlining what she's been told by staff to set her mind at peace.
So this house is right next door to hers, is that little house?
It's a little
Yes,
old white one, that's correct, yeah.
And she had water and sewer in there ever since, for a long time, right? Since what's his name was living there, he used to work for us there, for the village, and he passed away.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, and she didn't, and the complaint is that she didn't wanna pay for it, or?
Oh, I think we should be clear, Mrs. Westland has paid her bills in full. She was just wanting council to be aware of it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So she don't know nothing then?
No,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no.
that's what. Wait,
So the action that we, so first of all, I'll make the motion, we'll have a motion to receive the report from administration.
Move to receive.
Move to receive from Councillor Reichert, seconded by Councillor Zanson. So we have received the report. Administration has outlined the contents of the report and indicated that administration will write a letter outlining the procedures on the property to Mrs. Westland on council's behalf. Is everyone okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that is really all that's required then for 6B. Let's move on to 6C, which is Robert Freer's request to council to look into improving and adding to the existing bordered walkways. There's a motion suggested that council accept the report regarding adding to and improving walkways. So first, I have a motion to receive.
Move to receive.
Seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Zanson. And if you could outline the report briefly on page
I'd
29.
be happy to. So we have looked into this, and there are two challenges with further developing walkways. One is to continue the loop from where it is, goes off Third, and then would go around and connect that way. It would connect into the existing trail, sort of making a loop like this. That property is private property that it would go through, and there is no easements or right-of-way on this property that the village has. The other challenge is building a trail from the airport connecting to the frontage road. So the Village of McBride property that we could build on, it's all private this way, so the trail would be anywhere from 1.5 kilometers to maybe 2 kilometers long, because you can't just bring a trail out into a road. It has to be at certain places on the road. So that trail would bring us from the airport property down by 600 Frontage Road by the Public Works building. So the Village of McBride property back in there has a small ravine in it. It has to be bridged. We are saying approximately 2 kilometers because we haven't walked it with a pedometer. It really doesn't shorten the distance at all from the airport to town. And where it comes out, people would still have to come back, either cross at the intersection up by the LDM yard or cross at the Husky. It would connect into the frontage road at that point. The airport manager, we also spoke with him because Mr. Freer made a valid point that perhaps that he thought maybe pilots, this would be something the pilots could benefit from. Our airport manager says it's never come up speaking with the pilots. Things that they want are things like a covered picnic table to have their coffee at. Those are things that have come up. The cost will be approximately, and this is just administration, we're not experts in this, approximately $17,000 to develop that trail. We have not budgeted for that. So our recommendation, both Public Works and Administration, is that should council wish to develop this trail, that we do a proper RFP, a request for proposals, that we post it to get some idea of the genuine cost, and that we then consider it for the 2017 budget. Now, where the creek is crossed down at Dominion Creek, going on the high school trail, Public Works is going to make that completely accessible within the next month, as soon as they're getting ready. They're getting stuff nice for grad right now, and we think that'll be about $500 to do. And that wouldn't just be dirt tamp, they'd cold patch on top of it so that it has some longevity.
This is where, going over the bridge there?
By the high school.
Do the homeowners own from all the way Dominion, all the way around where that little boardwalk is, going across to the highway, do they own all the property right down to the river? There's about an acre there at each house or whatever. I was told, I don't know how true it is, that each one owns, whoever has houses there owns right down by the river. So they have to do the maintenance on the trees and everything, because it's on the property.
Well, along rivers, there's always a public easement, like if it actually follows very closely to a river.
But how many feet, if you're,
I don't know.
you know?
So you're talking about Dominion Creek?
Yes.
Off the top of my head, I don't know the answer to that question. perhaps we can refer it to administration to investigate.
Let me make a note of that.
Because I
it's a little off the
noticed certain
agenda.
people are cutting the trees down themselves, right? And if it's not theirs, it's the village's problem, isn't it?
Are we talking about Dominion Creek or the river
No, the
frontages?
Dominion Creek.
Okay,
That's a bad one there, because that's what I was told, that everybody has their property, that right to the property line, to the river, or to the little creek is their property.
Yeah, I would think so, but I really don't know. I have no idea.
So I don't know, I don't own property down there, I just like to know, because there's people cutting trees down, right? And they're doing their own maintenance.
Okay, so I think the best thing to do in this regard is to refer that to administration to report back
Okay.
exactly on where the property
Lines it.
lines are in that
Yeah.
area. And there is the Dominion Creek Trail down there.
Yes, there is.
And it is on, I believe, on village property because we maintained it, so. But there's parts I don't know for sure, so.
Yeah.
So I think, all fairness, a report back at the next council meeting would be good.
Okay.
Clarification, Councillor, or Acting Mayor Thompson, is this a new item? How does this tie into the motion that's on the floor?
This is just following up with your report.
Okay,
You've just received your report.
okay,
So there is no motion on the table.
oh, okay, yeah,
We moved
okay.
and seconded to
Okay,
receive the report.
so we're just discussion now, okay.
Right. So with regard to motions moving forward, I don't believe that anything needs to be moved with regard to the bridge access, because that's just gonna happen through regular
Very simple
maintenance.
thing, yes.
With regard to the existing trail that we don't have easement for, there's very little you can do in that regard without getting easement. So we need some more information on that. And with regard to the building or doing an RFP for an airport trail, I guess we might need a motion from council to move forward, or just recommendation that we leave that with that maybe it's not something that really is high priority if the airport manager indicates it's not something that would be good for us. So at this point in time, I think that we can just accept the report and leave the airport trail as something that's not as required at this time. Everybody's happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll go on to zoning amendment bylaw 763.16 for 521 Main Street has received 3 readings, public hearing, and it has been approved by the Ministry of Transportation. A motion the council give final reading and adopt the zoning amendment bylaw number 763.16. And I believe that administration, it's your job to read that one.
The whole bylaw out?
The whole
Okay.
bylaw. Here you go.
Sorry. That's okay. Whereas the Corporation of the Village of McBride has adopted a zoning bylaw pursuant to the terms of the Community Charter and the Local Government Act, and whereas the Council of the Corporation of the Village of McBride has received an application in the proper form for rezoning, and now therefore the Council of the Corporation of the Village of McBride in open meeting assembled enacts as follows. 1. Village of McBride zoning bylaw number 703/2010 is hereby amended at Schedule A, Section 22.2, with the addition of K, museum as a principal use. Number 2, Village of McBride zoning bylaw number 703/2010, Schedule B, is further amended by changing zoning on parcel A, being a consolidation of lots 3, 4, and 5, and they refer you to the schematics, BB 88410, Plan 24003, District Lot 5316, CD from Commercial Core C1 and Service Commercial C3 to Public Development PD. That isn't enough letters for you. Village of McBride zoning bylaw number 703/2010 Schedule A is further amended with the addition of the following. 22.3C, gift shop, farmer's market, food and beverage services, accessory to library and museum use on parcel A, being a consolidation of lots 3, 4, 5, Plan BB 88410, Plan 24003, DL 5316 CD. That this bylaw shall be known and cited for all purposes as the Village of McBride zoning amendment bylaw number 763/2016. This bylaw received first reading the 22nd of March 2016. This bylaw received second reading the 22nd day of March 2016. A public hearing was held on the 25th day of May 2016. It was read the third time, the 25th day of May 2016. Approval from the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure was received on the 31st day of May 2016. It is now up for consideration and adoption on the 14th day of June 2016.
So now to complicate things, as I did when we went through the previous readings, I'll declare a conflict of interest as a business owner on Main Street, very close to this premise. I would ask Councillor Bezanson to take the chair and conduct the fifth reading on this one. As former, you were the former acting mayor?
Yes.
Yes. So it's your turn. You can do it.
I'm sorry, Acting Mayor Thompson.
7/28. You just gotta get.
Here, just a minute.
How come?
Okay, so it's been read now.
Did what? Yeah, it's been read, yeah.
So now you just ask for someone to put a motion on the floor. So you just say, you ask for a motion on the floor to be adopted.
Okay, can I have an emotion on the floor to be
Move
adopted?
to adopt.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I have none.
Hearing none, it's carried. Hearing none, it's carried. Hearing no questions.
Hearing no questions.
It's carried.
It's carried.
Thank you, Councillor Bezanson.
They didn't, we need to vote. There was only two of us. My first, I second.
Okay. Item 6E, CN Underpass on Sampson Road. Motion of the council accept the administration report and attached plans for the CN Underpass drainage project. Moved to receive by Councillor Ryford, seconded by Councillor Bezanson. And administration, could you just update the gallery with what this is all about, page 32?
So, as everyone knows, this has been an ongoing battle for, I think, years upon years. We actually finally got a positive response from CN, so yay, well done, Councillor Bezanson for hounding them. And we have to thank Shirley Bond and her office, of course. So, CN has agreed to do all the maintenance and repairs and all the engineering if at the end of that time and upon our engineer's approval of the work they've done, we take over the maintenance of the underpass part. So that would be snow removal, sanding, that sort of thing. This was something when we met with them last year that we would not sign that property. They wanted us to take responsibility for it, but as anyone that's driven out there can see, it's in terrible shape. And there's serious engineering problems with sloughing, sliding, a number of things. So they have met what the village asked of them. They're willing to meet that. I think Councillor Bezanson probably has something to add to this because he spoke with their professional engineer just last week, I think it was.
I talked to him Monday morning, and he said it's finally being done. I guess they're bringing in engineers from Prince George, the ones that we had down for the culvert. And they're gonna do some testing, I guess, and I guess you'll have to talk to them tomorrow about releasing, and we're not gonna release until it's done the right way. It's finally come to it, and, well, we'll see, maybe it's another tactic, I don't know, when I see the machines there working, and, I'll be happy, but I noticed there 2 weeks ago, there was a group of, engineers from CN looking at it, and I was told by some people that, they were there, so, and I mentioned that to him, he wasn't there, he was on the course, but there was people there. So it's a go now anyway, and we'll see how long it's gonna take, right? And I hope it's done before this, before winter comes in. But that's all up to yourself, I guess, you're probably gonna send some paperwork and contracts, and that's what he said too, that there's gonna be contracts coming out. I don't know if they're gonna be hired from the village, that's nothing to do with us, I guess we go, up to him, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it's a lot cheaper, he said too, that, they hire local, I guess. Now, I don't know about pavement, I don't know, that's up to them guys that do their job and see what happens. But, at least it took over a year, I think, wasn't it?
Oh my
Over a
gosh,
year.
yeah.
But, it's getting worse, the side, on the south side there, from maybe 60 feet, 80 feet there, the east end, that all that, no posts are all sliding down, so I'm just hoping that, they get at it pretty quick instead if we have a rainstorm or something like that, and then all of a sudden there's no road up top for the other people, that, and then it's gonna cost them a lot more money. I don't know, I'm not an engineer, but, it seems it's pretty good lately.
Any other comments? No. Just for, if I may, for some background, the village has always been willing to, and agreeable to sign the maintenance agreement. However, the work under that underpass has never been completed to the satisfaction and standards of the village, and that's part of the issue. I did take a little bit of offense in the email that said they'll do the work provided we were going to sign off on the crossing agreement. So I went through, and I'm just concerned, I'll bring this to administration's awareness, that there's no indication on the engineered drawings here of how they're going to address the sloughing on the hillside. So if you're meeting with them, I hope that there's a discussion about stabilizing those banks on both the south and north side. I didn't see anything about the road surface, but I did find in the plans on page 37 that they are planning on an asphalt covering under there. And so I guess checking with Public Works and maybe the administration, do these specs meet the village road building requirements, for example, as per our subdivision requirements? Like, are they meeting the standards that we've got set for village roads? I would hope that that's addressed in a meeting. And I do want to stress that the drainage is only one part of the problem. And I'm hoping that CN addresses all of the issues, the sloughing, the road surface, and the drainage, because as we had done in the past, we did not want to take on a project that was done inferior. And as you can see what's happened over time, that really has been an inferior project. And so I need to be really confident that CN is going to complete this project up to our standards, because it was built at the request of CN, done by CN, to eliminate a level crossing. And the other answer is you eliminate the underpass and make it a level crossing again. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so in your meetings with them, administration, Kelly.
I'm listening. I was just
you know,
looking, I'm just trying to see, you're right, I was looking at schematics.
Yeah, I'd like to stress, the original agreement was that when the works were completed to our satisfaction, that the village of McBride would enter into a maintenance agreement. And that still stands as far as I'm concerned.
And when we met with them last year, it wasn't just to our satisfaction, it was to the satisfaction of our engineers.
Yes.
This wasn't just them saying this has been
To an
done
engineer.
right.
No,
Yeah.
to an engineer, right.
Yeah,
That should never be released until it's done the right way anyway.
it can't be.
So, in this regard, you know, we have the recommendation that upon inspection and engineer approval of the construction work carried out, that we sign a crossing agreement. Do we sign this crossing agreement or agree to do this before the work is done, or do we wait,
No,
like,
No, until after.
that
Until
upon
engineer
inspection and engineering, our engineer's approval of it.
Wait, this blueprint here, is this the recently one from Redloff? Or this is-
2013.
Okay, this is the one that the past council, the foreman there put in, and they went by this. Now, there's a whole bunch of new engineers coming in here from Redloff, and they're gonna be changing a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be going by this, or they'll go by part of it, but he did mention that the sloughing's gotta be done. So, I would throw, if I was him, I'd throw this right out and start over again. That's what I would do with the engineers, with the CN, because they're the ones that put it in there, and they're the ones that's kind of kerfuffled it all up.
I think, Acting Mayor Thompson, I think that we should change the wording of that motion, and I think that it should be the council allow the work to proceed as outlined, but will not sign off on the maintenance until such time as an engineering firm
Okay,
on our behalf okays the work done at Sloughing. You see what I mean?
yes, I do, and that kind of makes the blackmail.
Yeah,
part of it.
yeah,
So there isn't a motion out there at the moment, so
No.
let's craft one.
okay.
Almost exactly what you said, that, so a motion on the floor regarding the CN underpass would be that the Village of McBride
Mhm.
will sign a maintenance agreement for the underpass upon successful, or upon completion of the work and signing off by a village engineer. You might add some more words about the details
Completion of work,
of works as described
works as described.
by, in the report.
so what you're saying is that we,
Inspection and signing off on project.
By village engineers.
Yeah.
So if you can just read that back to us so I can see.
Yeah, just wait, I'm still writing.
Everybody listen carefully,
Okay.
Okay.
please, and then Ralph, I'll get to you.
The motion on the floor is that the Village of McBride will sign a maintenance agreement of the underpass upon completion of the works as described in attached report and schematics, inspection, and signing off on the project by a Village of McBride engineer.
So I would need to move around.
So
Moved by Councilor Reichert, seconded by Councilor Bezanson. Councilor Bezanson, you'd like to speak to that?
yeah, that means we're gonna have to hire our own engineer, right, to inspect what they're doing. Well, these people wanna get rid of it, so they're gonna have to do it the right way, one way or the other. They have to have
So we
somebody,
don't want a crappy job and then have to.
well, they're not gonna, they can't do a crappy job because it's not gonna be signed. And they know that, so put the cost on them instead of us. That's the way I look at it, and they're not signing nothing until it's done. You have documentation from the engineers, from CN, stating that this is done. Any faults, put a 10-year lien on it or whatever, put a 10-year, if anything happens, insurance, or I don't care what they do, but why should it cost the village bucks for an engineer for nothing when it's their problem? Sure, they have to do their work the right way, and they've done it the right way.
But they've, their engineers did this and it wasn't done the right way.
No, but that wasn't their engineers, it was a private contractor that did that.
Did their engineers not oversee it?
No, they,
Oh.
I personally
Yeah,
think we'll
it
just be happy with what we can get, or else it just gets shut down, and I think to see that happen too, so.
what's that?
I don't think it's gonna be that much, like, it's not gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars getting an engineer to look at it.
Well, they don't even know what's gonna happen, they gotta go in there and start digging up, you'd be
Yeah,
surprised
but
the
that's not
cost
us,
of that.
we're not paying for that, that CN is doing
I
that. All we're
understand
doing
that.
is getting an engineer to look at it
But-
after the fact.
When it's all done and finished, here's the, it's all paid, looks great, well, they better come up with something. Why should the village pay for it? Why should the taxpayer pay for it? When it's their fault. And they have to sign. If we're not gonna, to see it's done the right way, if not, we shouldn't sign the.
So I think just for clarification, if I may, what would happen in this case is the works would be completed by the CN crews that are working on it, their team, their engineers, and our engineer would simply be required to agree that it's done to our satisfaction.
So you're not gonna just up to, yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's just a matter of us doing our due diligence to ensure that we're satisfied with the work that's done. And I know you're not an engineer, I'm not an engineer, I'm not gonna go down there and look at it and say,
No.
oh, I'm happy. I want someone that knows what's going on to say, we're satisfied the way the work is done, and we're prepared to move forward and sign the agreement. So I don't see a big cost to it, I think it's just part of doing business, because if we take it over and it starts sloughing again and the road needs washing out, washes out,
It's gonna cost
it's
you a
gonna
lot
cost you a
more.
lot more.
Yeah.
So that's the
That's why.
intent of the motion.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Councillor Bezanson?
No,
You're still frowning.
I'm still, I think they should be liable for everything.
Well, they are.
Well, they are, but now we're gonna cost the village money to oversee what they're doing.
We're not overseeing.
Well, no.
Well, you actually
Work
are,
done.
you're saying they're not doing a good job, right? And you're gonna have another engineer to go over what they've done.
I think, if I may, I think it's just stressing, just agreeing that the work done by their engineers is acceptable. That's basically what you're doing. And that's not uncommon.
No.
It's the way things are done. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
okay, then I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion on the table? Opposed? Motion is carried. Reports. Oh. Let's start with Councilor.
Okay. Tuesday, May 25th. It's at the library public hearing. May 26th, we have NDIT here in the chambers. May 30th, I met with Mr. Bond and the search and rescue team at the Grizzly Pub to show off the Army boat. And then at 4:30, that was Shirley Bond here in council chambers with Councillor Bezanson, Thompson, and Councillor Edie, Tracy. June 4th, we were in the parade, went to a bunch of pioneer events that went really good. It was huge. It's like the biggest parade I've ever seen in McBride. It was quite amazing. June 7th, we were at the MCFC office for a meeting. June 8th, 10 in the morning, I was at Regional District. We have a planning committee for the Regional District's 50th anniversary coming up next year. And then June 8th, I was back here at the Community Forest Public Meeting. June 9th, we were in council chambers to discuss senior housing. And June 10th, I was at OBAC in Prince George. That's fun.
Thank you. Councilor Tracy.
Hey, it's almost like I was following you. Of course, May 25th, the library public meeting, and then the 26th, we met with Northern Development, very informative meeting. Melanie was able to join a meeting with Shirley Bond in her group. I joined on June 3rd, the bake sale, and it was delicious. Too much stuff, it was great. Sad to say the June 3rd educational meeting was canceled, was looking forward to it. but made up for on June 4th through the 5th, the Pioneer Days. The parade was great, as Sharon said, and so much to see. And I learned how to play horseshoes. No one got hurt. June 7th, MCFC board meeting. June 8th, a public meeting. June 10th, Ralph and I went to the volunteer barbecue, and it was great. It looked like they had a good turnout, and that's it for me.
Councilor Blanton.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all the volunteers. In the parade, there was just about an hour. We timed it, I guess. And the good thing about that one was, I want to say to Mrs. Fry, Mr. Fry, and her son there, they brought that old fire truck, and I was telling people that I'd seen it run before. That was a lot of years. So they tried it, and now it's running, and they put that in the parade. And it wasn't for the low bed operators and the volunteers and all that. That was head of the parade, and that was amazing. That was great, and it worked fantastic. They had it running on a Thursday, I think it was, or Friday, and then Saturday they put it in the Friday. They did some other touches, and that was amazing. That's an old truck. The ball tournament, they had 10 teams, I guess. And one thing about that, there, the volunteers there did a good job. There's no complaints. Ball's going over. They're all purple. The Elks did a good job on everything there. The food was good. The horseshoe tournament was a little low this year because everyone was playing ball. The sports, I guess, the logger sports was a success. And it was a beautiful weekend because it was sunny too, so I can't complain. And then I'll never complain about that. But it was our fun days are getting bigger every year. I noticed compared to our neighbors down there. But it just shows that people are into it and they're enjoying it, and that's great. The community is getting together. I want to say thanks very much to you for the grads. They did a good job cooking burgers for everybody, and because of the support that we gave them and other businesses. It wasn't for them, the business, yeah, they're doing good. Of course, we know about the big thing there with the CN. I'm happy with that. I was with you people most of the time, and there's some places I didn't go. So that's my report.
Thank you, Councilor Sampson. My report, May the 25th, we had the special budget meeting. That was, we were looking at a revised budget plan. On May the 25th, the special meeting of public hearing regarding 521 Main Street. This was for the rezoning of 521 Main Street, which is already gone through the agenda tonight. May the 26th, I did a presentation in Belmont with regard to the rural dividend program, much the same as the presentation that I gave to council here, to the Rural Advisory Committee in McBride. On the 26th also, we had the communications plan presented by Joel McKay from NDIT, and this was a presentation to review the previous communication plan and prepared by NDIT and to decide on actions moving forward with an updated plan. May 30th, we had the opportunity to meet with Minister Bond. This was an opportunity to bring Minister Bond up to date on projects and activities and direction of council so that the minister can assist wherever possible. On June the 1st, I attended the Healthy Communities Committee meeting. The meeting was to review the McBride on the Move event, which was held May the 15th, and look ahead for future activities. And the Healthy Communities Committee is looking at starting health walks with Dr. Alwan on a monthly basis. And the first walk will be through Dominion Creek Trail, and it will be on Sunday, June the 19th, which is Father's Day, starting at 3 o'clock. So bring your fathers out and go for a walk and talk to Dr. Alwan and get free medical advice, I guess. And depending on the number of participants and the enthusiasm, we will try to do this on a monthly basis using different trails throughout town. So the first one, Sunday, June 19th, 3 o'clock, meeting at Steve Kalita Park. Moving on from there. June the 9th, I was in Vancouver at a Rural Advisory Council meeting. The meeting was to receive information on the initial intake for the rural dividend and consider recommended program changes for the second intake. The council also discussed direction for future meetings. The next meeting of the council will be a teleconference prior to release of the rural dividend recipient, whoever gets grants, so we'll hear about that just before it's announced. And our next face-to-face meeting will be in late October. And so that's my written report, which I supplied to administration. So that takes care of councilors and mayor. So administration.
I just have one brief, just for your information. We had put a tender out for arterial frontage road mowing. We received 2 packages back. Thank you to both groups. Center Fire Holdings put a tender in, a bid for $8,500, and D&T Holdings 8,000. Our packages were opened by myself in the front office Friday, June the 10th at 14:05. The opening was witnessed by Travis Wall, our lead hand, Karen Dubé, our administrative assistant grant writer. The tender contract was awarded to D&T Holdings.
Okay. Thank you. And administration, you're on. We're from finance. We have a checklisting for from pages 39 to 450. 55.
It's January 2016 forward because we haven't received them.
So there goes, a long report from January on. Are there any questions on the checklisting?
No, I didn't have any. It scared me when I first started going over this. I didn't realize you started in January.
Yeah,
What's going on here?
I was with you on that.
Councilors, answer no questions. I just had some noted things with regard to the washout project. Perhaps I can address those with the administration later. I'm just curious about the progress. So that's that.
I'm sorry?
The costs, the checks that were made out for the Lagoon Road washout. I was just noting the numbers in there and wondering how that balanced out with the amount set aside for 2016. So, but it's I'll have a discussion with administration on that rather than take up everybody's time, because there's a lot of questions here. Public Works. We have a written report from Public Works. Are there any questions on that one or any additional comments that you can provide, Kelly?
No, it's been, summer's pretty well the same, you know, it's watering, cutting grass, doing maintenance. It was really nice to see they slapped a coat of paint on the dugouts before our Pioneer Days, so that looked great. They're keeping very busy, and then they'll be doing the repairs on the bridge, so I would say it's business as usual. There's been no disasters, no crises, no washouts, so all's well in Public Works world.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Fire hydrants, when's the last time they were checked over? I was told or maintenance done on them.
You were told?
That's one's not working by the RCMP building.
I'm unaware of that. Who would have told you that?
Well, my information like that. Maybe it should be checked out.
It can certainly be checked out, but it certainly hasn't been reported to administration.
Okay. So we'll have a move, we have moved to receive the reports for information only by Councillor Tracy, seconded by Councillor Reichert. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Correspondence requiring action. First item A, Les Umbrella letter requesting a letter of support from the village of McBride to support the use of electric motors on LaSalle Lake, and a motion of council to supply a letter of support as per municipal authority for Mr. Savarella. So we'll put the motion on the table. Moved by Councillor Reichert, seconded by Councillor Pazanson. Any discussion? We have the letter. in front of us.
Yeah, I do, I think it'd be a great idea for the people, with electric motors. In Jasper alone, they have only one lake or two lakes that are all, they're outboard motors, oil, but the rest are all electric, and they don't seem to have any problems with it, but that's the federal park. But here for this little lake, it's not gonna disturb nothing, and it gets the elderly or people out to do some fishing. And I'm for it 100%.
I'm not, I haven't really been out there much, so is that like where the dock and stuff is, where the people swim, so would there be, is there another part where the boaters would go specifically?
No, they
or-
could put them in there, there'd be no problem, there's lots of room there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, could there be some kind of, like, this is where the boats go, and this is where the
Yeah, they
boats go?
put their rowboats in there, but maybe 30 feet from the dock,
Right.
unless you want to put, talk to, have a swim area with a buoy across it, that way
Yeah, yeah,
no one
or
can come
a
in
rope,
there. right?
whatever. Yeah, that's just what I'm thinking.
That would
But I don't think there would be a problem with, no, there's no problem with electric motors, I don't think so.
I don't have a problem with electric motors whatsoever.
Because they're only a
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
size and, there's, not that, they don't go 90 miles an hour, right?
No, I don't have a problem with the boat, I have no problem with that whatsoever, I just have a problem with it being where people are swimming.
You know, you have people in wheelchairs or whatever, they like to get in a boat and go, they can't row.
So just for clarification, the motion on the table is to support change to the no motor restriction on the lake. It doesn't comment anywhere about who would set the regulations up. That would not be us. So this is simply writing a letter supporting the removal of the no motor restrictions and allowing electric motors use on the lake. It would be up to the Environment Protection, Marine Safety and Security Transport Canada that would deal with the regulations.
Right, correct, okay.
Okay?
I thought it was the Fish and Wildlife. I don't even know how they got that sign up there anyway over the years. That's been up there 20, 30 years, no boats. And I think it's the wrong lake.
Mhm.
Well, that would be up to those ministries to figure that out. If council is happy with writing a letter in support of allowing electric motors, then we should vote in the affirmative on this. So, any other discussion?
No.
Okay, motion is on the table. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Administration, will you prepare a brief letter for us in that regard? Thank you. Item 8B, Barbara Jackson. Welcome back, Barbara. A notice of auction of 478 Main property and request to set up a porta potty on the site for June 18, 2016 to be removed from property June 19th. The motion is that the Village of McBride allow Barbara Jackson to set up a porta potty at 478 Main to accommodate people at the auction. Porta potty will be set up and taken away by Barb Jackson, and all cleaning will be undertaken by Ms. Jackson. Further, the porta potty and surrounding area will be maintained to comply with Northern Health standards by Ms. Jackson. So, the motion is to allow Barb Jackson to probably have some porta potty company come in and set up a porta potty for the day.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do I have a mover and a seconder
I
on
shall
that?
move
That is moved. Do we have a seconder?
I second.
Seconded. Any discussion on the porta potty topic?
No,
Where are they going to use?
no,
Where are they going?
no,
Are you sure?
yes.
Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? The potty is on. Potty is on.
We were waiting for that.
Ms. Jackson potty.
Okay, let's move on to 8C. Mayor Lynn Hall, City of Prince George, requesting a letter of support by June 17th, 2000. By June 17th?
We can get it.
Okay, for City of Prince George bid to host the BC Summer Games in either 2020 or 2022. I love that advanced planning. So the motion is that the Village of McBride support the City of Prince George bid for the BC Summer Games in either 2020 or 2022 by supplying a letter of support.
So moved.
So moved by Councilor Reichert, seconded
Second.
by Councilor Tracy. Any discussion? There is information on pages. Only 2 pages, 61 and 62. Okay. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? You'll have that done by Friday?
I'll have it done.
Good, thank you. There is a number of documents for information only, running from page 63 to 676. Is there anything that you've noticed in there that you would like to bring up, council, or comment on? I like the International Day of Older Persons. Okay.
Celebrate something, I guess.
Okay, let's go on to outgoing. There is no outgoing to report on. Bylaws, permits, and policies. There are none. Let's go on to new business. All kinds of new business. Okay, 10A is the Community Energy Leadership Program. A motion that council accept administration's Community Energy Leadership Program Round 3 report for information.
Move to accept.
Move to accept. Seconded?
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilor Tracy. So all in favor of receiving it? It's funny when we already got it, we received it.
I know.
Okay. Is there any action required on this report, the administration?
No, not at this time, we're just
Okay.
bringing you up to snuff. So you know what we're
Okay.
looking for.
So that is just information with regard to grant application, which ends on July the 15th. So we'll be addressing that at a future meeting. Okay, number B, Enabling Accessibility Fund, which is a 65-35 split fund. A motion that council accept administration's Enabling Accessibility Fund report.
Move to accept.
Moved by Reichert, seconded by Tracy. So this one is an
Start at
application which begins on page 79, 80, 81, and 82 and 83. And this is, there's a further motion with this one to support the submission of an application for the Enabling Accessibility Fund for the Village Office Chambers Accessibility Project. Administration, do you want to give a Reader's Digest version of that project?
The Reader's Digest version is some years ago, it was the wish of council and the community to make our chambers and our offices more accessible for people with mobility challenges. Over the years, I've looked at the history, very good proposals were put in, funding did not come forward. This council has made this a priority again for administration this year. We've applied for one set of funding, we haven't heard back, but anything that we think we can meld to it, that's what we're doing. Because I think I know that you all mentioned this was a big priority for this council, that we have that accessibility. So we're ready to go on it, and as you can see, we're happy to go on it.
Okay. Yeah, so that is for accessible doors in the front entrance, the vestibule, and back here with a wheelchair accessible ramp with a cover on it. Okay, so that is the motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Is that a yes? That's a yes?
Okay, so I'm just reading that 33% would be us.
Yes,
Would we have to pay
35.
35?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if somebody on this was very.
That's,
Did we, let me just check, just taking a step back here, thank you, administration. Did we get the, maybe I didn't do this right. Shame on me. Did we put the motion on the table first and seconded to apply for the enabling accessibility grant, or did I just
No,
leave?
just, no.
Okay, so let's take a step backwards. That I need a mover that we support the submission of the application.
So moved.
So moved by Councilor Reichert and seconded by Councilor Bezanson. Now we can have some discussion. Good, we've already had the discussion.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so we know it's a 65-35 grant, should the grant be successful. Any further discussion? Hearing none, All in favor?
This is the whole building, correct?
This is,
Everything.
this
As outlined here.
No, no,
As
just the
outlined.
village office entry.
village,
Because
village doors, vestibule doors,
Okay.
doors, a wheelchair, an accessible ramp with a cover.
Well, it should be, but isn't that by law, you should have that anyway?
Well, let's hope we get the grant then.
there you go.
No, but a lot of
Be
people, a
like-
lot of buildings have
Because like
that.
our office is the post
We were
office.
grandfathered.
Your grandfather?
Yeah, we fell under the International Day of Older Persons.
Oh, okay.
Some of us do, some of us don't.
Okay.
Some of you were young.
So we do have that motion on the table. Are we ready to vote on it? Okay, all in favor of directing for going, okay, done, apply for it. Okay, C, derelict and unsafe buildings. First of all is a motion to accept the building assessment report for 234 Main Street. That is found on page 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89 of your package. Anybody moving to, I will move then to accept the report, and it's seconded by Councilor Tracy. Okay, so we have a report in front of us from the building inspector, and the motion now would be that council direct staff to send a letter by registered mail to the property owner of 234 Main Street, giving the property owner 30 days to apply for a permit from the village of McBride to demolish the structure and properly dispose of all materials resulting from the demolition. Moved and seconded. Moved by Councilor Tracy,
A second.
seconded by Councilor Reichert. We are open for discussion.
What happens if they don't?
I will pass that information, or that question directly through me to the administration.
What happens if they don't? The template I forwarded to you guys today outlines it. It's a letter of understanding. And if the building owner doesn't, then the village does and charges out at our fee rate for the work, and we would do it in accordance to the legislation. So that's what would happen.
So just for clarity, this is the building which is located between the antique
Fredericks,
store and the McBride Trading Company building. So it's the one that's set back, and I think if you've walked by or seen it, you know that it is in disrepair and is a bit of a hazard. Okay, so we had a mover and a seconder with regard to the letter. Did you get the mover and seconder down?
I did. I have Councilor Tracy and Councilor
Tracy
Reichert.
and Reichert. Is there any further discussion on moving forward with the letter on that property? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Next motion is to receive the building inspector's report on 848 First Avenue, fire and safety hazard. That is on page 90 and 91 of your package. Nope, 91, 92, 93.
Yes.
94 and 95. A motion, someone to move to accept that report,
Move to accept.
moved by Councilor Reichert, seconded by Councilor Tracy.
Tracy.
Any discussion on the property at 848 First Avenue?
No, we've jumped
Oh,
again.
sorry, I jumped
Yeah,
again.
jumped again.
Okay, since I've received the report now,
Mhm.
there's a motion that council direct staff to send a letter by registered mail to the property owner of 848 First Avenue, giving the property owner 30 days to apply for a permit from the village of McBride to demolish the structure and properly dispose of all materials resulting from the demolition. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Tracy, seconded by
Second.
Councilor Reichert. Any discussion on the 848 First Avenue? Just for the record, this is a building on First Avenue which has a deck on the front which has got a hole in it and windows out of it, and I think it used to be an antique place or something. I don't know. Just so you know where it is.
I think the roof is all old
Down.
and
Okay. Any discussion on that letter going out? Hearing none, I'll put the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. moving on to E, derelict and unsafe buildings, 210 Horseshoe Lake Roads, significant safety hazard. I need a mover and a seconder. The council accept the building assessment report for 210 Horseshoe Lake Road. And that is on pages 96 through 101.
Move to accept.
Moved by Reichert, seconded by
Tracy.
Councilor Tracy. Any discussion? Again, no, did I just receive the report?
You just
I
received it.
received the
You
report.
received it,
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, next is a motion the council direct staff to send a letter by registered mail to the property owner of 210 Horseshoe Lake Road, giving the property owner 30 days to apply for a permit from the village of McBride to demolish the structure and properly dispose of all materials resulting from the demolition. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Tracy, seconded by Councilor Reichert. Any discussion?
Is the power off there? They used
It
to
is
rent,
now.
they used to rent that place over last year or 2 years ago.
The power is off now. Our building inspector went, the entire basement is full of anaerobic stagnant water, and the power was hooked up to the house. So
Yeah.
he immediately contacted Hydro, so that's why you don't see the fire risk with that one.
And so just for reference, this is the one that's located behind, sort of behind.
The high school.
Okay,
But see, this building, I think all that property's up for sale anyway. That whole 22 acres and the house is involved in it too, I think, I don't know. We all know who owns it, so. We used to own the Travelers.
okay. Any further discussion? Okay, I'm putting the question with regard to the 210 Horseshoe Lake Road. All in favor of sending the letter? Are you in or out?
I'm in.
No, I'm Councilor.
Okay, are we, okay, I just didn't hear you say the second half.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay. Opposed? Carried. Good. Item 10F, derelict and unsafe buildings, 964 Second Avenue, deterioration, mildew, and asbestos concerns. Need a motion that council accept the building assessment report for 964 Second Avenue, moved by
Yes.
Reichert, seconded by Tracy. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. I now have a motion that council authorize staff to have the building materials thought to contain asbestos properly tested for asbestos and to demolish the structure and properly dispose of all material resulting from the demolition. Yes. So, I need a mover and a seconder on that particular motion. I will move it. Or do I want to? No.
No, you don't.
No. Can I retract my movement?
Yes, you can, because nobody seconded for you. Because we wanted to beat this next.
I have that written here.
So can we amend the motion to say as of September 1st?
Yeah, but I can't amend it if I vote
Well, that's what I'm saying, we can amend it before we do that.
yes.
Yeah.
So if we don't put it on the floor, we don't even discuss it.
It's not on the floor.
No. So this one did not make it to the floor. Okay, then we need to report that the motion with regard to 964 Second Avenue did not make it to the floor for discussion. Okay. 10G. This is your additional package, your late item. And I will just indicate that this is a report from administration with regard to the Canada 150 grant, second intake, and we'll get administration to give us a little overview
Thank you.
of that, and you can give that back to me, Glenn.
I will. So this is, the administration is asking council to provide both a resolution of support and a letter of support for for the Robson Valley Mountain Biking Association's application to the Canada 150 Community Infrastructure Program, second intake for trail construction as part of phase 1 of the master trail plan. So we need both of those from council. This is limited very, very strictly to recreation, and we, as the village, don't have anything, we took our ball diamond off of our budget and stuff. So we have nothing, so administration's recommendation is we support one of the community groups that is working in the area of recreation.
Okay. So with regard to that, we'll first have a motion to receive the report from administration. Moved by Reichert, seconded by Tracy. All in favor? Okay, carried. And then I would entertain a motion to support the application to the Canada 150 grant second intake for the mountain bike trail.
I would move that.
Moved by Reichert, seconded by Zanson. Any discussion? My discussion would be that I think that I continue to stress that I think the mountain bike strategy for the complete Robson Valley corridor is a great move forward with extending our recreation season, and we should be finding ways to make this happen all through the corridor, both in Belmont, Barrier, ourselves, all the way through. So those are my comments. So, motion is on the floor. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Oh,
Supporting the application, but we also need a full letter of support.
okay.
Yeah.
So I would move that, I will need a motion that council provide a letter of support for the grant application, for the Canada 150 grant application for the McBride Peak Mountain Bike Park.
I would move that.
Moved by Reichert, seconded by Tracy. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 11. A motion that in accordance with section 91C, labor relations or other employee relations, E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements, if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality, the meeting is to move in camera. I need a move first, second by Councilor Tracy.
Oh.
Reichert, Tracy,
Okay.
all in favor? Opposed? Carried. We're going to move into camera at 8:20.
I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Mayor, thank you.
Right. So we need to, so we got to move, we've moved by Reichert, seconded by Tracy, so we move into camera at 8:20. All in favor? Opposed? Going on camera. Thank you very much. We